free childcare comes to an end July 12, but there is now a determined push to keep the policy in place permanently. The Australia Institute believes it's the key to saving our economy.
And the Institute's chief economist, Richard Dennis, joins us now to elaborate. Richard, good morning to you. Nice to see you. Love the idea, but how are we going to pay for it?
Look, how are we going to pay for anything? The government went to the last election promising $300 billion worth of tax cuts. And, of course, the main argument for tax cuts was that it would help encourage people to enter the labour market and stay in the labour market. Well, if we look around the world, we find there's much cheaper ways of doing that. And in the Nordic countries, in Scandinavia, they have much higher participation rates for women because they have free or very, very cheap childcare. And because a disproportionate of childcare winds up on female parents, in Scandinavian countries, those parents work in far larger numbers than they do in Australia.
Because, I mean, if we look at the cost of childcare in this country, it is beyond ridiculous. It pushes women out of the workforce because, I mean, you end up working just to pay for someone else to look after your child, and you often just think, well, why bother? And then long-term, it impacts our super, it impacts our future ability to earn. But looking at making this free permanently, what does it do short-term and what does it do long-term for our economy?
Look, in the short term, the government is trying to find ways to stimulate the economy. It is trying to find ways to pump money into the economy. And there's no better way to pump money into the economy than in the form of free childcare, because it literally increases the disposable income of families with young kids. They literally just have more cash to spend. And at the same time, the service they're buying, childcare, is one of the most labour-intensive services in the country. So households have got more money to spend, and as the childcare sector expands, it employs more women and more people than almost any other industry. So it's a win in the short term.
What would it cost, do you think, to set it up?
Well, we've had free childcare now for a couple of months, so we've got a pretty good estimate of what it costs. And it looks like it would cost around $7 billion a year. But to put that into perspective, the government's announced more than $200 billion worth of stimulus packages already. Now, we know this recession is hitting women harder than average. We know that women are losing jobs and losing hours faster than men. But so much of the government stimulus is focused on construction and building things. Well, the reality is more women are losing jobs in retail, in hospitality, in tourism, in education, in arts. We need to find a way to create jobs there, and simultaneously we can create jobs in the childcare sector and free up other women to be out there looking for work.
Because, I mean, I'm in this space right now. I've got, with a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, and I've got a great example of a girlfriend of mine. 2 young kids, so she left her corporate job, she set up her own small business. It's on its knees, it's earning no money at the moment. Free childcare has got her through, it's allowed her to keep trying to push with her business. Come July 12, she can't afford childcare anymore, so she's just going to close the business. And I can only imagine that we've got loads and loads of cases like hers around the country. But look, is it possible that there's a compromise here? Rather than free childcare, we can just make it more affordable?
Look, we can do either. We can do both. We're one of the richest countries in the world. We can do anything we want. What we know is that in Australia, the average household with kids spends around 17% of their income on childcare, and in the Nordic countries, it's between 0 and 4%. Just a couple of months ago, the Prime Minister was adamant that we had to get the schools open. We had to get the schools open so that parents could get back to work. Well, if that's true for school-aged children, then like your friend, it's obviously true for preschool-aged children as well. And if we go with the free childcare option, again, we stimulate the economy in the short term, we have a larger labour force in the long term, and of course it does something small to overcome the gender inequalities that are so apparent in Australia.
Certainly food for thought there, Richard. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.